What's up, everyone? This is Bill with BLR Tuning. You guys know what time it is. Today's watch is the Galaxy Watch 6 with a little custom face that I made. You can see the H2 right there. We're going to be working on the ZH2. We are going to get rid of this rubber brake line and replace it with a Spiegler steel braided brake line. Okay, so I'm going to make the video as quick as I can, but here's what we got. So when we ordered this straight from Spiegler. Okay, so you can go to Spiegler.com, check them out, email them, sales@Spiegler USA. There'll be a link in the description below. Okay, so it does come with the little claw to adjust the angle of this, of the little eyelet here. And that's where our banjo bolt's going to go through. And then it does come with a new distribution block. Okay. And we went with the green, with the anodized green aluminum. We do have a bunch of other anodized green aluminum parts on the bike, so it's going to look good. So to do this, you are going to need, let me show you the bike. Okay, this is our Kawasaki ZH2. This is a 2023 ZH2 SE. Okay, right now we have the tank off. You can see we've done the blow-off valve, Brock's exhaust, tuned in here in-house by BLR Tuning with an ECU flash, and then we added Power Commander 6 with wideband with auto tune, so that way we can monitor AFR. We do have our AFR gauge up here. We sell that as a kit on our website as well. Okay, and what we are doing, so there'll be a link in the description below to the video, the teardown video that shows you how to get the plastics off and the tank off. Okay, so you can go click on that video and follow along there, and then come back here and you'll be right here with me where I'm at. Okay, so I'll wait for you right here. Okay, now that you're back and you've watched that video, okay, now you should be down here to where your tank's off, get these plastic side panels off. You don't have to remove this all the way up in the front. You can just loosen these bolts here, that bolt, that one bolt, and these two, and then these plastic panels will come off. Okay, and remember, as you lift the tank up, you have these two lines here that need to be unplugged. And then as you come down, you'll see these need to be unplugged and the bolt and nut needs to be pulled out. So that way that little bracket goes with the tank. Okay, you can see there, that's the bracket that's gonna go with the tank when you move the tank off of the bike. Or else you have to unclip these and they're a pain in the butt. They'll start bending this stuff up. Okay, and the fuel line, pretty straightforward, don't break it. All you gotta do is pull out on the longer tabs on each side and it'll slide down, and then slowly wiggle it and pull it off. Make sure you got a rag ready, because a little bit of fuel will drip out of there, but it'll stop itself. Okay, so now that is part of the process of doing this, because on back behind this bolt, inside this plastic tray, below the tank, is the little distribution block you're gonna have to get to. So you can see here, if we go to the other side, you can see there. So we have to get that line, that metal line, off of that, and then the line that goes to the bottom of it. Okay, there's a line at the bottom of it. This distribution block has got to come out of here. We're going to be replacing that. Okay, so I'll show you all that here in a second when we start tearing into it. But you can see I've already started loosening it. And then what I have on the back here, since we're removing this line, I have the valve, the little nipple open, so I loosened it with a silicone hose on there down to a little drain bottle. Okay, so as fluid wants to run out of this line, we want it to have somewhere to go rather than just dumping everywhere. Okay, it can potentially be messy because there is fluid inside this line, and we are also going to have to put fluid back in this line. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. You can follow along here, but don't get yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do now. Okay, because your brake lines ain't nothing to play with. You let air in the lines, it's not fun trying to get all the air out of the lines. Okay, you need to know what you're doing, and you make sure you bleed them correctly and put new fluid in them correctly, and only .4 fluid on this ZH2. Okay, so I'm gonna get this loose, and then we're gonna pull that bolt out from the other side. Okay, and then we gotta be careful of our speed control, our speed sensor wire right here. This is all speed sensor wire, so we got to be careful of that guy. And then we're going to have to reroute that new brake line and move those fittings around so everything lines up. Okay, so I'll get to that, and then if I run into anything crazy, I'll let you guys know. Give me 1 second. Okay, so when you're removing the factory brake line, like I said, have this open, have a tube so it's draining, or so it can drain if any fluid heads that way. When you pull this block, undo this top one, you see here, that would be this one right here, okay? So what it does is it comes from the plunger, it goes up, it goes this line here, that's from the plunger, then it goes down through these lines down to the distribution block and everything. Then it comes from here and goes back to your actual little block that goes down here. So that's the bolt we're going to pull off. It might drip a little, but it's not going to start dumping fluid. At least it hasn't yet. Okay, so that's what it looks like down in there. You know, pull the bolt out and then undo all the little clips and tabs. You got one here that's a little 8mm, and then you got an Allen right here. Excuse me, that's a 5mm Allen right there. So you have to undo that. It has like a little clamp. And all these have to come off. So this is all loose now. This factory line is still on that block, as you can see. It's a part of it, basically, the way they have it set up. Okay. Then we can undo this bolt. Be very careful. Have a rag ready, because that line might have fluid in it. So if it hasn't all drained out through the back. We'll get rid of that. And then we're going to attach the little distribution block that came in the kit to here, to the new line, and then we're going to run it up under there, put our bolt through, and put it back in its little bracket. You see right here, it's got a little bracket that it sits in that's got a little captured nut that's welded. Okay, and then we'll put our brake line back on to there. Okay, so when we look at our end of our line here, you can see how it's tapered in, and then we look inside here, that one's tapered in, this one's tapered out. The one that's tapered out needs to line up with this one. Okay, that is so it is a sealed system. Okay, when it goes down inside there and then you thread this in, you are locking that to that brass piece inside there. Okay, then this side will go on to this guy. Okay, so basically you see this side here is going to be up, and that with the brass nipple in it is going to be down. Okay, so we need it to sit in there just like that. So we are going to attach our other end to here first. This is the first step we're going to do, and we're going to feed it up through there and bolt it in place. Then we'll reach down here and tighten this tight. So we're not going to tighten it super tight yet. We want it to be able to swivel so we can get it into place. Okay, so you can see how I have it sitting now. We have the little block down here in place. It doesn't fit exactly on those tabs, but it fits enough to get the bolt through and hold it in place and hold it tight. Okay, the bottom one, the one from Spiegler, the little nut there, is going to require a 7/16 wrench. Okay, and then this is a 10mm open end wrench to do that guy. Okay, so that's how it's going to go. Make sure you have everything orientated correctly. This should not be getting caught up. There it goes. Okay, so you can see how that's all set up. That just keeps this out of the way so when you're putting your tank back on. And this plug down here, I have it labeled, but that's our exhaust servo, which we've already removed and deleted in the ECU tuning. So basically what I did is I left it loose on the bottom where the Spiegler steel braided line is. I put it up in here, made sure it all fit, and then I made sure I, had it how I wanted it, and then I put the block in the vise with some soft jaws and a rag so we don't mar it up, and then we just tightened that guy down, cranked it down, and then we stick it in here, line this up, get this threaded on loosely, then put the bolt in from the other side of the tray here, and then make sure it's bolted into that bracket with that capture nut. Then we go ahead and crank this guy down as tight as we can. Okay, it needs to not leak. So now we'll go over here to the other side. So you see how I have it. We left everything where it was. So what we'll do is we'll slowly start back here and we'll line this up. So these will slide on this steel braided line. Okay, you can give it a hawk tua and spit on that thing right there and it'll slide right up. You can see there. Now we'll put that on and then we'll come over here and we'll line this one up and put the bracket on. We'll slowly work our way down and then we're going to pull that banjo bolt. We're going to use the new washers. It came with an extra one in the kit. We're going to use one on top and one on bottom. Those are crush washers. And we're going to give it about 16 foot-pounds. The max would be 18 foot-pounds. Okay, but we want those washers to crush just a little bit. So let me get that part lined up and done. Remember, when you pull this off, that is full of fluid. So have something to set the other end in so it can drain into it. Okay, don't get anything on your bike. Don't get this brake fluid on your bike. It is corrosive. One thing I do want to mention, when you purchase one of these kits from Spiegler, it does come with this little blue block. It lines up in the grooves and it squeezes that piece tight, and then you use this little plastic dowel through there, and now you can spin that banjo fitting at the end inside the steel braided line. They say don't do it more than 180 degrees, but that's so you can fine adjust and get it to the right angle that you need if it's not from the factory. Okay, I've had pretty good luck with their lines being on the money, but if you need to adjust one, it comes with everything you need. You would normally put this blue piece in a vise, hold it down tight, and then rotate this with that piece of plastic in there so it doesn't damage the banjo fitting. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you have to adjust it, you absolutely can, and don't be surprised if you do. It's not out of the normal to have to adjust it. Okay. Okay, so here's where we're at. We got our steel braided line on. We've lined everything up. You can see how it comes up through here. And then this kind of slowly goes back behind the brake line, and that's what puts it on this other side here. Okay, and then it goes all the way up nice and smooth. Nothing has any kinks, nothing's pulled tight. You see it just floats there. We have a zip tie here that you probably won't have, but that's for our wideband. So no big deal there. Okay, so now we need to bleed the line. So we're going to get this cover off. That is this little 4mm bolt here. Okay, we're going to get that little cover off. We're going to pop the cap on that so we can keep an eye on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to pump the pedal while this is open. We're going to slowly put pressure on it, and then we'll close that, let the pedal come up, then we'll do it again. Pump the pedal while we have this open. As it comes up, we'll close this. We will keep doing that until we see nothing but fluid coming out of this and no more air in the line. Okay, and we'll just keep doing that, and then we'll put the bike back together. Right now I have the tank still off. We're going to leave it like that because what we also want to check during this process is if we have any leaks at this block, because now we need to address those if we have any, and it'll be a pain in the ass to find that out later after you've put the tank back on. So that's what I recommend doing, is bleeding it until it feels right, then put the tank on, then test ride the bike. Okay, and when you test ride the bike, take it out slow, mash on that brake, make sure it feels nice and tight, make sure it's got some pressure. Okay, so let's start the bleeding process. Like I said, apply pressure to the pedal while this is open, have a wrench sitting here on it. Then as soon as it starts to reach the bottom of where it can travel, close that off, let it come up. Do the same thing, just keep doing that. Keep doing it. Okay, eventually you're going to see nothing but fluid coming through here. And that's what we're wanting to do. No matter how much fluid it takes, we got to get every bit of air out of there. Okay, so also while we're doing that, we're keeping an eye on this level and making sure that we don't end up reaching bottom and sucking in air. So we've got to keep this full. So if this gets down low, we want to stop, add fluid to it. Okay, we want to keep that full to the full line. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so here's how much fluid we dumped out of the system. You see it needed changed anyway. Here's the new fluid that we are using, this racing brake fluid. Motul. Really good stuff. .4 fluid. Okay, so we got pressure in the line. You can see we do have our reservoir back together. Got this down to 16, it's like 16 and a half, 17 foot-pounds is what we put it down to. We want it to crush those washers so it makes a good seal. But that's not leaking there. And then we have no leaks down here. So you see, that's where you want to keep an eye out for, is leaks down here. We had a leak at first, but we came in and we tightened this nut down, and now we have no leaks. So now the thing to do is put the bike back together. So we'll do all that, clean everything up, make sure you didn't leave any drop of brake fluid anywhere. Like I said, stuff's corrosive. We got our new hats. We also have some new gray t-shirts that'll be coming up on our website here shortly. The hats should be available when you see this video. So if you want one, I think they're like 25 bucks plus shipping. So really nice hats. Got that bright fluorescent orange BLR Tuning logo, snapback. Really good quality. Okay, so if you want a hat, go check it out. Link in the description below. And if you want one of these Spiegler steel braided brake lines, then the bike is fully equipped with steel braided now, because these bikes come from the factory with steel braided lines in the front. And then everything else is steel braided or steel here. The only thing that I don't understand is why they did rubber up here. So you can see the distribution block up here is rubber lines. I would have liked to have seen those either hardline or steel braided. So you do still have those there, but everything going to the rear brake now is all steel cable. And it looks really nice too. Definitely looks a lot better than the factory one, I think. But remember, they have this in multiple colors, so you could even go with a black one and keep it stealthy if you wanted to. But we are going to embrace the green. So we have some green aluminum bolts installed. We just did the clear cover right here, which is the back of the supercharger. So that is the supercharger gear right there. So you can see it when it's spinning, when it's started. So it's done quite a bit to this bike. Got a bunch of billet aluminum pieces. They all say ZH2 SE. So the domino grips. Everything's coming out really nice, really sharp bike. I'm really digging having this bike. It's a lot of fun. Very powerful bike. You just got to have a lot of respect for it when you're riding it. Anyway, I'm going to get the bike all buttoned up, take you for a walk around, and that should be it for our install. Remember, you can go check out the link in the description below and check out our teardown video, and that'll help you get the bike back together. Okay? Okay, guys, so if you followed along, in the description below, as I mentioned, there is a link to the teardown video, so that'll help you get the bike back together. But we have this guy all back together now. You can see what it looks like here. Again, this is a 2023 Kawasaki ZH2 SE. And that is our steel brake line from Spiegler Performance Parts. There's exactly what I have. You can even get these if you have an extended swing arm. You can extend them. They have lots of different lengths that you can extend them. This is the factory length. Okay, so you saw there it said 20-inch. This I just chose factory length. I didn't need to extend it at all. Okay, we have the factory swing arm. So, Spiegler Performance Parts. Link in the description below to go purchase that. Anyways, I'm Bill with BLR Tuning. Hope this video helps somebody out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.